What if the life you think you're building is just the same circle wearing a new disguise? You call it growth. The universe calls it repetition. Somewhere in the desert, travelers swear they've been moving forward only to find their own footprints staring back at them in the sand. It isn't the desert that deceives them, it's the compass inside, spinning endlessly, mistaking motion for progress. What if most people live exactly this way, not stuck, but looping, waking each morning inside the same field of probability, collapsing the same waves, projecting the same emotions, drawing in the same timeline and calling it normal? But what if normal is just a cage that feels familiar? Maybe your potential hasn't vanished. Maybe you're still broadcasting yesterday's frequency and waiting for tomorrow to answer. Change doesn't bloom from effort, it erupts from dissonance. When your energy becomes so incompatible with who you were that reality itself has to rearrange. But here lies the paradox your mind resists. The harder you try to escape, the deeper you dig the loop. Effort born from fear or lack is still a prayer to the past. It's like sprinting on a treadmill with virtual skies ahead, believing you're chasing destiny, while the ground beneath you never shifts. Now pause, feel the pulse in your chest, the tension in your breath, the quiet unease under your ribs. That's not random. That's your nervous system whispering, I know this place. Because this isn't a mindset trap. It's a biological echo. Every repeated thought, every recycled emotion, every belief borrowed from childhood has etched patterns through your neurons, stamped codes in your chemistry, broadcast signatures into the quantum field, instructing it, recreate this reality again and again. Here, science meets the soul. Quantum mechanics tells us particles are possibilities until we observe them, and the moment we look, the wave collapses into one outcome. But if you're observing life through fear, memory, and identity, what do you think you keep collapsing? The same pattern. The brain fills the rest, showing not what's possible, but what's probable, what fits the loop. That's why people live the same year over and over, calling it experience. They change cities, lovers, jobs, yet the feeling follows. Because frequency travels, the field doesn't respond to fantasy. It mirrors vibration. As Neville Goddard wrote, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. And who you are vibrationally is the orchestra of your emotions, focus, and unconscious self. So if you are the loop, how can you escape it from the inside? You can't. Not while thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same weather every morning, reacting instead of witnessing. Here's the quiet revolution. The loop doesn't break when you try harder. It breaks when you notice it. That single, still second when awareness replaces reaction creates a quantum tear, a vibrational rupture where new timelines appear. But most people miss it, busy trying to fix their life from within the same frequency that built the problem. They think their way through a vibrational maze, manifest abundance while radiating fear. And the field whispers back, you haven't changed, so why should your reality? Once, there was a woman who wrote affirmations until her voice cracked, who visualized until the pictures lost color, who prayed for transformation, until one day she simply stopped. She sat in the stillness, and for the first time, she could feel how much of her life had been piloted by the part of her that feared silence. Tears rose not from sadness, but from recognition. Her body softened, her breath found rhythm again, and something ancient within her loosened its grip. She didn't manifest the next day. She dissolved a loop that had ruled her for decades, and in that collapse, space appeared, space for a new pattern to be born. So let me ask you, what if your breakthrough isn't something you gain, but something you finally stop rehearsing? Don't rush to answer, because what comes next will take us beneath the mind itself, to the source where the loops are written and where they can finally be rewritten. There exists a blueprint beneath your thoughts, a silent code carved not into DNA, but into something far more fluid. The field. This field isn't metaphor or mysticism. It is the living quantum web of energy and information that holds everything together, including you. Yet most people walk through life unaware that their patterns, emotions, relationships, even their health, are not orchestrated by conscious desire, but by the vibrational blueprint they've unconsciously uploaded into that field. Imagine walking through a hall of mirrors, except the reflections don't show your face. They reveal your inner weather, your unspoken beliefs, your hidden frequency. Every event, every encounter, is simply one of those mirrors returning the signal you've been broadcasting all along. Bruce Lipton calls it the biology of belief. Amit Goswami calls it the primacy of consciousness. Joe Dispenza calls it reconditioning the body to a new mind. Different languages, one truth. Reality isn't shaped by what you want, but by what you expect, and those expectations are written in the field. Now let's go quantum. Every cell in your body hums with electrical communication. Your heart generates the strongest electromagnetic field of all, broadcasting emotional data into the space around you. This isn't philosophy, it's physics. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that your heart's rhythm directly synchronizes with your brain, your nervous system, and the environment itself. So ask yourself, what is your heart transmitting every morning? Here's the hidden mechanism. The field records your emotional patterns, especially those charged with intensity: fear, shame, grief, longing, resentment. Over time, these emotions crystallize into stable vibrational signatures. And when a signature becomes stable, it loops. It turns into an energetic script, an autopilot program that keeps recreating similar events. Not as punishment, but as obedience to your last clear command. But the mystery runs deeper. Where did those commands begin? Return to your beginning. From the final months in the womb until around age 7, your brain pulsed in theta, the same state accessed in hypnosis. You weren't analyzing or judging. You were absorbing the moods, beliefs, and unspoken frequencies of your parents, caretakers, and environment. This became your first imprint. Once installed, your subconscious began projecting it outward, and the field mirrored it back. So decades later, you may be an adult dreaming of freedom, wealth, and love. Yet if your energetic blueprint whispers that love equals abandonment, that money requires struggle, that worth must be earned, then the field will simply agree. Because the field doesn't speak language. It speaks vibration. It doesn't follow your words. It responds to your emotional coherence. Affirmations without alignment are like sound without echo. You say, "I am worthy," while your nervous system trembles, whispering, "I'm not safe." That inner conflict creates static, and static doesn't shift reality. It only echoes in the dark, reverberating through the same empty space. But here lies the opening, the quiet invitation. The field isn't rigid. It listens, it adjusts, it waits for instruction. And the moment you alter the frequency at your core, the mirrors begin to change their reflection. Think of your life as a song stuck on replay. The same verse, the same chorus. You try to change the lyrics, but the melody remains. Why? Because the rhythm is still imprinted in the track. To change the song, you have to return to the mixing board, to the vibration that composed it in the first place. That's what real transformation is. Not treating the symptoms, but rewriting the frequency that bursts them. Joe Dispenza puts it simply, your personal reality mirrors your personality. So if you want a new reality, you must shift the energy signature of who you are, your thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and the invisible tone that hums beneath them. This isn't motivational language. It's a quantum principle. Reality collapses not from thought alone, but from awareness charged with emotion. And here's the darker side of it. Most of us were programmed, quietly, into fear, guilt, and scarcity. Our nervous systems trained to loop limitation, our emotions conditioned to obey the familiar cage. But what if you could reverse engineer that? What if, instead of being programmed by fear, you could program your body with gratitude, presence, and the soft power of enoughness? That's coherence. And coherence is the language the field understands. Force repels, alignment attracts. You don't have to push the universe. You have to resonate with it. Even effort, when born from desperation, becomes noise in the signal. The illusion of progress dressed as productivity. So what happens when you stop chasing and start tuning? When you let your attention become precise, like a beam of light cutting through fog, you begin to see how reality itself rearranges to match your state of being. This is the observer effect in motion. Your attention isn't passive, it's participatory. Your gaze doesn't record the world, it builds it. Quantum physics confirms this. Particles exist as infinite possibilities until consciousness observes them. The act of observation anchors them into form. Now apply that truth to your mornings. Every day, you open your eyes and meet the world through thought, emotion, and expectation. And in doing so, you collapse the same pattern again. You call it reality, but it's only repetition. The real trap? You're not merely seeing the world, you're seeing it through a lens crafted long before you knew you were holding one. Your attention is a spotlight, and whatever it touches, it energizes. But attention carries your frequency. If you look at your bank account through fear, you're not just seeing scarcity, you're feeding it. Each glance charged with worry sends a subtle command to the field. Repeat this. That's how the feedback loop tightens. Inner state shaping perception, perception reinforcing inner state, and until awareness interrupts that rhythm, the song plays on. It's a quantum echo chamber. You feel insecure, and rejection seems to find you. You feel unworthy, and belittling moments appear from nowhere. You expect delay, and suddenly time itself drags its feet. The cruel irony is that each of these moments feels like proof, but the proof only exists because of the vibration you've already sent into form. This is the observer trap, and it runs deeper than it appears. Every day your attention is hijacked by unhealed wounds, by cultural conditioning, by the endless noise of devices, by stories that were never truly yours. You try to focus, to create something new, but the gravitational pull of the familiar keeps dragging you back. Your nervous system resists new frequencies, not because they're wrong, but because they're unknown. And to a survival-driven brain, the unknown feels like death. That's why you can imagine a future so vividly, yet still recreate the past. Your attention might point forward, but your frequency is anchored behind you. Picture this. You're a painter standing before a blank canvas each morning. New colors, new brushes, a clear vision of beauty. But a thin fog covers the glass in front of it. Without realizing, your hands trace the same old outlines day after day. The fog is your subconscious. The outline is your vibrational memory. And the painting is your life, repeating itself beneath the illusion of change. Now here's the key. Your attention isn't just a light, it's a scalpel. It carves infinite potential into a single outcome. So if you want to collapse a new reality, you can't just change what you look at. You must change how and from where you're looking. Joe Dispenza explains it perfectly. When your attention is trapped in survival, in the centers of fear, control, and prediction, your focus narrows, you scan for danger. You cling to the known. And in doing so, you collapse the same safe, predictable version of your world. But when you bring your attention into the heart, into coherence, into the observer beyond identity, the lens opens. You begin to perceive new possibilities. You stop collapsing repetition and start attracting the extraordinary. Not through strain, but through elevated observation. The field doesn't give you what you look at. It gives you what you become while looking. If you become lack, it mirrors scarcity. If you become fear, it mirrors limitation. But if you become gratitude, the vibration of already having, the field harmonizes to match it. You've heard what you focus on expands, but the truth is subtler. What you focus on with emotional coherence manifests. So your real work isn't to control what appears. It's to master who you are while observing it. That's where spirituality meets science. Meditation, breathwork, presence, they're not acts of self-care. They're quantum tools training your attention to stop collapsing recycled timelines and to open the door to the unknown. And here's the piece most forget. The observer isn't your mind. It's not the thinking you. It's the aware you. The witness behind the thoughts, the stillness beneath the noise. That awareness is timeless, neutral, and potent. When you rest there, even briefly, your observation vibrates at a higher octave. You stop collapsing from fear. You collapse from alignment, and alignment draws new realities out of the quantum sea. So let me ask you, what would happen if you stopped using your attention to scan for threats and started using it to tune into possibilities? What if your gaze became creative instead of reactive? What if your attention vibrated with the version of you already living the life you long for? That's not mysticism, that's quantum mechanics. And that doorway, the one between effort and surrender, is where timelines shift. Because the moment you stop feeding what no longer serves you, the loop begins to fade. Not because you fought it, not because you conquered it, but because energy stopped flowing there. And in that silent instant, almost invisible, power returns to its source, you. The story lost its charge. And in that instant, something ancient inside you begins to loosen, like an old frequency cracking beneath the pressure of awareness. Every loop you've ever lived shares one truth. It survives on your energy. It needs your reaction, your belief, your identification. Without those, it collapses, not in an explosion, but in a quiet unraveling, like a single thread slipping free from a knot that's been holding for years. No one ever told you this growing up. You are not trapped in your life. You are entangled with it. And entanglement, just like in quantum physics, can be altered the moment coherence shifts. Let's translate that into vibration. Every thought, every emotion, every reflex sends out a measurable frequency. Repeat that frequency long enough, and it becomes a pattern. Grooves in the record of your field. Your consciousness drops its needle there, and the song of your life begins to play the same refrain again and again. But here's the hidden truth. You are not the needle. You are the hand that holds it. The moment you stop reacting, you lift the needle, the groove loses rhythm, and the timeline that once fed on your energy begins to dissolve. That's how real quantum shifts occur. Not through force, but through frequency starvation. The mind, of course, resists this. It demands, do something, and that's how the loop wins. Because most doing isn't transformation, it's distraction. People rush, hustle, strive to escape discomfort, but in that resistance, they keep fueling the very pattern they wish to end. There was once a man who spent years trying to manifest a breakthrough, more peace, more money, more freedom. He meditated, visualized, filled walls with affirmations, nothing changed. Then one night, panic hit. His chest tightened, breath short, body trembling. But this time he didn't run. He sat perfectly still. He didn't fix or fight his state. He let it be. And in that raw surrender, the loop of resistance starved. What came next wasn't light or thunder, it was silence. Then, clarity. The next day, an unexpected call shifted everything. Not because he forced the future, but because he stopped energizing the past. This is the core of quantum timeline shifting. When the emotional signal fades, the quantum match disappears. No signal, no feedback, no loop, Joe Dispenza reminds us. Elevated emotions, gratitude, love, inspiration, collapse higher potentials. But you can't access those while gripping the frequency of pain. You must let the old wave decompose, and decomposition requires stillness, silence, space, the willingness to stop feeding what once felt safe. So how do you begin? Start by noticing what pulls you into the loop. The person, the fear, the thought. Pause, drop into your body. Let the emotion rise and move without giving it a story. Don't fix it. Don't name it. Don't resist it. Breathe until it softens. Then, something almost imperceptible happens. The emotion loses its story, the story loses its charge, and suddenly you are no longer vibrating in resonance with that timeline. It's like tuning an old radio. You don't destroy the old station, you just stop listening. And because reality mirrors frequency, it must reflect the new signal you've become. Picture this. You've been feeding a wolf at the edge of the forest every day. It grows strong, demanding, predictable. One day you stop. It howls. It returns, restless. But you offer nothing. Days pass. The wolf doesn't die. It wanders, it fades into the trees. That wolf is your loop, and your energy is its food. Here lies the paradox. You don't have to know what timeline you're shifting into. You only have to stop nourishing the one that drains you. The field doesn't need your plan, it needs your availability. It needs you empty enough for the new signal to enter. But beware of this threshold. The silence between loops feels like death. It's the void. The moment when the old fades but the new hasn't yet arrived. The ego panics there. It runs back to the familiar, just to feel alive. But that's not you anymore. You've seen the loop. You've felt its cost. So this time, don't run. Breathe. Stay. Let the old frequencies starve. Because in that silence, something vast is listening. And it's preparing to fill the space you finally cleared. I bring my energy to a new timeline. Let that be your signal. Let it ripple through the field. Let this be the instant the loop begins to unravel. Because from here, we go beyond neutrality. We step into intentional coherence. We stop being reactive observers and rise as living transmitters. You are not here to watch a new timeline form. You are here to become it. Most people still believe the universe is listening, that the field is some cosmic delivery service, waiting for your order to ship your desires into form. But the field does not take requests. It doesn't interpret your words or decode your affirmations. It mirrors what you are. And that realization changes everything. Because if you are the broadcast, not the receiver, not the antenna, not even the speaker, but the entire signal itself, then every outcome, every coincidence, every closed door or sudden alignment is not a matter of fate. It's a matter of resonance. Here's the truth most manifestation teachings skip. You don't attract what you wish for, you attract what you become coherent with. And coherence, vibrational, emotional, energetic, is not something you pretend, it's something you live. Everything in existence vibrates, atoms, cells, thoughts, emotions. But vibration alone means nothing without harmony. Coherence is the synchronization of those vibrations. The moment chaos becomes order, the hum becomes music. Think of a laser. It isn't just light, it's focused light, and that focus gives it power to cut through steel. Your consciousness works exactly the same. When your heart and brain move in sync, when thought, emotion, and body speak the same frequency, your signal becomes pure, magnetic, laser sharp. You stop being a person hoping for alignment and become alignment itself. And the field cannot help but answer. But coherence doesn't happen by accident, it happens through embodiment. By living as the version of you who already holds the reality you want. Not someday, not when evidence appears, but now you walk, speak, breathe, and choose as them, even when the world hasn't caught up yet. Because the field doesn't follow proof. It follows instruction, and the most powerful instruction you can ever send is your state. You want abundance? Then embody sufficiency. Not as a mindset, but as a sensation, a breath, a posture, a gratitude that hums through your cells. You want love, then live as the frequency of already being loved. Not because anyone validates you, but because your nervous system recognizes safety as truth. You radiate security. You walk as love. And the field mirrors that. You want freedom? Then move through your day with expansion in your chest, not waiting for life to grant you permission, but walking as if freedom was written into your heartbeat. Because here's the quantum truth. The field is not a judge, it's a mirror. And mirrors don't debate, delay, or edit. They reflect what stands before them. So if you keep withholding your frequency, waiting for proof first, you collapse the wrong wave. You generate delay. You affirm lack. And that gap becomes your reality. But when you become the frequency first, time bends. Reality rearranges. People appear you never could have planned for. Opportunities emerge from nowhere. Doors swing open without force, not because you're lucky, but because you finally vibrate in harmony with the life you asked for. Think of tuning a radio. Every frequency holds a different song. You can want jazz, pray for jazz, visualize saxophones, chant jazz is mine. But until you dial to the right station, you'll only hear static. Desire alone won't tune the signal. Alignment will. And what most people call waiting is simply misalignment. sitting on 89.5 hoping 103.7 will somehow play. It's not that the universe is against you, it's that vibration doesn't work that way. This is the moment we stop being passive creators. This is the moment we stop asking and start tuning. So how do you begin? First, stop chasing outcomes. Chase states instead. Outcomes are effects, states are causes. Instead of asking, how can I get this? Ask, how would it feel to already be that version of me? Then saturate your field with that feeling. Morning, night, in the spaces between your tasks. Breathe it. Speak from it. Move as it. This is not pretending, it's practicing a new signal. And just like a muscle, coherence strengthens with repetition. This is what Neville Goddard meant when he said, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He didn't mean fake it. He meant become so vibrationally identical to the version of you who has it that the field cannot tell the difference. And when the field cannot tell, it aligns not gradually, but instantly. Even if the result takes time to materialize, the shift is already in motion. Now let me offer a gentle disruption. What if the field isn't out there at all? What if you are the field localized in a body, playing a precise frequency to experience a specific reality? Then the real shift is not external. It is internal alignment with the infinite version of you that already exists, waiting to be tuned in. And that is where we go next. In the final chapter, we will bring all of this together, not as theory, not as concept, but as lived reality. You will learn how to stay out of the loop, how to sustain the shift, how to embody a new quantum identity that the old you can no longer contain. You are not waiting for the signal. You have always been the signal. There is a moment in every shift, a silent crossroads where you meet the ultimate test. Will you collapse back into the familiar or expand into the unknown? Because here is the hardest truth about transformation. Your old loop is more than a pattern. It is an identity. Letting go of it means letting go of who you thought you were. And that is why most people relapse. Not because they do not want the new reality, but because they do not know how to live without the old one. The pain was familiar, the chaos predictable, the survival strategies rehearsed. Even suffering carries a strange comfort when it has become part of your identity. But here's what the quantum field invites you to know and embody. You do not need to fix the old identity. You need to dissolve your resonance with it. True transformation happens through embodiment, not just touching higher frequencies for a few minutes in meditation, but living from them, speaking from them, making choices as if you already exist in the new timeline, because you do. The shift is already happening. Your new self has already broadcast its signal. The question now is, will you hold that frequency long enough for reality to respond? Because the loop, that old, familiar, magnetic version of life, will call you back. It will whisper in moments of doubt, dress up as logic, urgency, or old desires, disguised as necessity. And if you're not anchored in your new identity, you may answer. Mistaking the past for practicality, collapsing the familiar wave once more. But you don't have to return. Once your body knows how freedom feels, how peace breathes, how power moves, you cannot pretend you don't know you have rewritten your frequency. The signal has shifted. The field remembers. This is the quantum exit, not escape, not struggle, but transcendence. A shift from the vibration of reaction to the vibration of creation. When your inner signature no longer aligns with the old world, that world begins to dissolve, not because it is punished, but because it is no longer entangled with you. So how do you remain free from the loop? By remembering this, you are the field, not a receiver, not inside waiting. You are the living expression of potential. Your state, your attention, your coherence, your choices, these are the instruments of reality. You stay out by choosing the unknown repeatedly, not as risk, but as home. By feeling discomfort without surrendering to it. By leading with gratitude even when proof seems absent. By understanding that maturity is living proof without needing confirmation. Anchor your inner state. Return to breath, presence, and awareness whenever the old loop tugs at you. Never trade your frequency for the comfort of the past self. The field doesn't respond to effort. It responds to embodied truth. Your truth is not small. It is not repetitive. It is not a loop. It is a signal, a living frequency calling reality into alignment with who you now are. If you felt that shift, even for a moment, then you already know there's no going back, only deeper, only higher, only forward. You are not creating a new reality. You are remembering who you have always been in the field and quietly, powerfully letting go of everything that no longer belongs to your next timeline. This is the shift, not theory, not hope, not wishful thinking. It is the living, breathing frequency of your true self unfolding now.